Neighbor tried to get my mum fined over our shed, so I got his $40,000 pool filled in. Our neighborhood had always been quiet, the sort of place where you knew your neighbors at least well enough to wave at them. My mum had lived there more than 20 years, in a simple beige bungalow with a weathered roof and a small blue shed tucked neatly at the back of the yard. The shed had been there forever, holding garden tools, leftover paint cans, and a couple of old bicycles that I never got around to fixing. Mom had every permit for it, stamped and filed away, because she was that kind of person, careful, respectful, never causing trouble. So when the new neighbor moved in, we didn't expect any problems. He drove a spotless black SUV, carried himself like he owned the street, and let everyone know he'd just built a $40,000 in-ground pool. He barely smiled when Mom brought over cookies to welcome him. After that, he never made an effort to get to know us, unless you count the way he'd stand in his yard and glare over at our shed like it personally offended him. Then came the complaint. A letter from the city showed up stating there'd been a report of an illegal structure on our property. Mom went pale reading it. I was furious, but she calmly gathered the paperwork, invited the inspector over, and stood by while he measured, checked, and left without a word. The shed was 100% legal, just as we'd known. You'd think that would have been the end of it. But the neighbor still smirked whenever we crossed paths, acting like he'd scored a point somehow. That's what lit a spark in me. If he wanted to play petty games, fine, two could play. I started researching. Our city's building records were public. It only took an hour online to pull up the permits for his expensive new pool. And there, it was glaring. The pool had been built far too close to the property line, and worse, right over a utility easement. That meant if the city ever had to dig there for water or power lines, they'd be blocked. Technically, that was a serious code violation. I took pictures. I made copies of the easement map. I even looked up the exact ordinance code and included that in a neatly typed email to the city's compliance department. A couple of weeks later, another inspector came around. This time it wasn't our shed they were measuring. From the kitchen window, I watched the neighbor pacing, gesturing wildly at the inspector, probably trying to talk his way out of it. But there was no way around it. The city ordered him to move the pool or fill it in. Moving it was impossible, so they brought in crews to rip it apart and bury the hole. $40,000 vanished, just like that now, every day. He has to look over at our perfectly legal little shed, while standing on a patch of churned up dirt where his fancy pool used to be. Mom doesn't worry about going outside anymore. She's sleeping great, watering her herbs again, and enjoying the peace she deserves. Some neighbors will do anything to feel powerful, but sometimes a quiet person can fight back in ways they never see coming.